Hi, I'm Ellen McCauley, and I'm at Pray It Off in Syracuse, New York. And one thing that I noticed when I was reviewing last week's videos is I could hear some chatter every once in a while. So I'm going to ask everyone to kind of stay with me tonight, especially if I start talking about food, because whenever I start talking about food, that's when people get real, what, she's talking about food? I'm really interested. But the first thing I'm going to talk about is after last week, I talked about stewing. And I talked about how I could stew in my negativity for hours. I talked about having a bachelor's degree in stewing. And so many people texted me, called me, emailed me, and said, I'm the biggest stewer in the world. And then we got in a competition. Oh, no, I'm the biggest stewer. No, I am. I'm the biggest stewer. Well, we're all pretty big on stewing. And this article is incredible, and I beg you to read it in its entirety. It's called Stewing is Not Praying. And I love talking, they talk about this couple, and they had a fight. And I love the word, they said there was a sense of dis-ease. So like a disease, when you're not at ease with yourself, when you're not at ease with a situation, it's almost like a disease is in the home. That negativity is a disease. It's called dis-ease. I love that. So he can hear his wife on the phone going, and then he said, and then I said, and then he said. How many times have we done that? Oh, we got to call people. I used to call my mom, God rest her. I'd call my sister. I said, can you believe that happened? Can you believe it? Because we want people on our side. And the husband's usually down there going, I can't believe it. Because they don't have anyone to call. No one's going to listen to them. But we're on the phone going, and then he said, and then he goes back up, and they start talking, and she says to him, I've been praying all night about this. And he said, you know what? You really weren't praying. You were stewing. And how often do we confuse praying with stewing? Praying is not stewing. If it was, our righteousness would outshine the sun. I love that. Stewing is far more enjoyable than praying. Because praying means we're letting go and letting God. Praying means we're giving it over to Him. Praying means we're taking some culpability. Praying means sometimes we have to repent of our own behavior. But stewing, we can just really replay that event over and over. And you know what kills Bob about me? I'm like, remember 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the electric light, and I said, and I'm able to verbatim repeat an entire conversation. I said this, and then you said, and then he's thinking, uh-oh. There she goes again with that verbatim memory. And then he tries it. He goes, no, I don't think I said that. And I go, are you questioning my memory about this? But we do that. We verbatim replay a situation, and then we think that script is true, that nothing's ever our fault, and it's a never-ending loop. It goes on. And remember 1976 when you did that? Well, I'm sorry. Yes, but remember when you did it? I'm sorry. Yes, but remember? Are we ever going to not remember it? You know, are we ever not going to have, and don't you love what I call it globalization? Let's say Bob forgot to lock the door. And I'm like, you always forget to lock the door. And he might say, I've never not locked the door. This was the first time. And I'm like, in 1981, when we came home, and he goes, you're bringing up 1981, but don't we do that? We have these, I call them like, remember the old mail slots? Okay, oh, he forgot to lock the door. Okay, 83, he forgot to, we have them slotted away in our memory. God, we sin, and God forgets our sin. Never brings it again. We have these issues, and we put them in these slots so that we can bring them out again, bring them out again, bring them out again. Who we're really hurting is ourselves. It's a never-ending loop. And so many people stew and they blame everybody else. You can also stew and blame yourself. See, I'm big on that too. Why did I do that? What an idiot. I should have never done that. Sometimes you never take blame, and sometimes you take too much blame. But it's not praying. It's just this never-ending loop. It's suspending progress in favor of the past. The past is over. You know, I don't know if I mentioned this to the group, but on my tweet today and on Facebook, it said we should really try to live like we're dying. Every day we should try to live like we're dying. And I said, I really never thought, and I might have said this to you guys before, but bear with me, I never really seriously thought about my own mortality until my mother died. And then when my mother died, I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm the matriarch. My sister's the matriarch. We're next in line. And then you start thinking about it, and you start thinking, okay, I'm 69. How many good years do I have? 20? 10? We can become fixated on that. I mean, there's people who are 20 that don't have 20 years left. There's people 50 who don't have 20 years left. Or we can say, you know what? I'm going to let all that crap I did wrong in the past, all those donuts I ate over here in the past, I'm going to live the healthiest, best life I can today, right now, here, because this is all we got. And one of my favorite songs from Rent is, there's only this. There's only now. No time for regrets. This is it. So, do we really pray or do we stew? Do we say to the Lord, and this is what prayer does. When our prayers focus on our desires, we're just stewing. How many times we say, Lord, please change my husband. Lord, please change my kids. Lord, please change my boss. What we should really be asking for God to do is change and transform us. Our thoughts and our musings, our reflections and our deliberations become prayers when they invite God to change and transform us. And that's a beautiful thing. It's not in the past, and it's not stewing. And I'm going to stop right there, Bobby.